My husband of 5 years asked me for a threesome with my best friend and she agreed. I, 26 female, met my husband, 35 male, 7 years ago, and we have been married for 5 of those years. I love my husband and all that he has done for me, but I fear that my marriage and my relationship with my best friend is now over. Not to mention I just found I'm pregnant, and this only started happening after I told my husband. He was very much on board with having a child with me, and we have been trying for around 6 months. For context, my best friend, 28F, let's call her Mia, knew my husband before me, and they were incredibly close before I even knew him. When I first met my husband, I suspected there was something going on between them, but they always denied it. However, they admitted while they were drunk that they were indeed sleeping together before I got with my husband. Even though it's not important now, it still plays on my mind, you know? Especially considering what just happened. Anyways, 2 weeks ago, my husband suggested a threesome for the first time, and I was already not on board with it. I quickly said no and hoped he'd never bring it up again. 2 days after that, he suggested it again, and I once again declined. He asked again that night after we had sex, and once again I said no. After that, he stopped asking, and I thought that was the end of it. However, 3 days ago, he asked me out to lunch, and I was pretty excited considering he never takes me on dates anymore. When we got to the restaurant, my best friend was sitting there and was confused because he never mentioned that she'd be there. The vibe was weird from the start, to be honest, but I tried to think nothing of it. Halfway through the lunch, my husband asked me again. I want to consider the idea of a threesome again, and I thought it would be a good idea if Mia was involved. I didn't know what to say. I asked if Mia knew about this, and she said yes, and that she'd known about his plans for over a month. I was devastated. I said no, paid for my meal, and left with my car. I feel so betrayed and hurt right now. I have no words. This man is meant to be the father of my child, but I can't look at him. I've been staying with my mom, and he's been phoning me and calling me dramatically and saying that he'll just drop it. Mia has been spamming me too, saying the same thing. I don't know what to do. Edit 1. I've seen lots of people tell me to abort my child. I'm so incredibly torn on this as my mother would be so upset if I aborted her grandchild. She was so happy to see my sister give birth, and I want to provide her that happiness again. On the other hand, I don't want to look at my child with the knowledge that it is his. Not to mention that he could possibly want some sort of visitation rights for my child. I've also seen people saying that Mia may be pregnant with his child too, and the threesome would be an excuse as to how she got pregnant. I feel it could be a stretch, but I'm probably going to arrange a talk with both later today. It's 8 a.m. as I type this. I'll let everyone know what happens in the comments. Mia was my closest friend for ages. I have a few old friends from high school, but after I met him, our relationship moved pretty fast, and we moved in together not long after dating, so I was busy with taking care of our home. My father isn't here anymore, and my grandma is in a nursing home. My sister recently gave birth, so the only person I really can stay with is my mother. I genuinely don't know if I could let him hold our child or even look at him the same way. Thinking about it now, I truly think he and Mia have been seeing each other for a good portion of our marriage. I really don't know if he can come back from this. I'm so afraid of getting an abortion. It's not like I don't want my baby, I just wish this didn't happen. I also am not even sure if I'm allowed to get an abortion. I know some places have time limits and stuff, right? I've seen a few people comment about our age difference, and now that our relationship is on the line, I'm seeing how dependent I am on him, and it's scaring me, to be honest. Even though I've had some great memories with him, I really wish he and I had just never met. About having the baby to please her mother. What is this nonsense? This is about you. Not your mother, or your sister, or even your husband. This is about you. You will have to carry this child to term, look after it, watch it grow up, share custody with this asshole, must co-parent with it. Your mother won't. Stop doing something so profoundly central to your life for someone else. Have it, don't have it. But for fuck's sake, don't have it because it will please other people. OP. I think you might be right. I genuinely don't know if I could raise this child, knowing it's his. Update the next day. They both agreed to arrange a talk with me this morning, and I'm not even that shocked, but I still can't stop crying. When I arrived, they were sitting so close to each other, it has genuinely made me feel so sick. They didn't seem upset at all. They were just talking like normal and even smiling, which is so gross to me, seeing as they both know how upset I am right now. Anyways, when I sat down, I flat out asked them if they had been seeing each other behind my back, and everything I've been suspecting these past 3 days was confirmed. They had been sleeping with each other. I am so heartbroken right now. I don't think I can carry this child. These past few days have felt so unreal, and I'm a wreck. I know that it's early to decide this, but I do think abortion is the correct decision for me. I also asked him why he decided to tell me now, and not earlier or when I wasn't carrying his child, and he literally just shrugged and shook his head and then said, "I don't know," as if that was a good enough answer. Mia was mostly quiet the whole time, but I don't think she feels the slightest bit of guilt. To everyone saying divorce, that is most likely what will happen. I'm terrified, as I've known him for most of my adult life, and he is the only man I've ever been with. He is in control of our bills, our rent, and overall finances. I literally have no idea what I'm doing. Edit 3. Time is literally a blur right now. I'm receiving messages from pro-lifers and it's getting to me even though I know I can't have this child. My mother-in-law has also started spamming me too. I blocked my husband's number and I did the same with Mia. His mother won't stop messaging me. I blocked her number, but she then went out of her way to message me on Instagram and Facebook. She keeps saying I should have just done the threesome to make her boy happy. It's fucking weird. Sorry if my replies to comments aren't frequent. I'm dealing with so much depression and anxiety right now, and I'm also struggling with the fact that aborting this child is the best thing for it. Thank you for all the support. In the comments. After the talk I had with both, I'm deciding that abortion is the best option for me. I feel awful for our child. I didn't mention the abortion. I felt it wasn't the right time to mention the divorce, as I'm sure he already knows that it's most likely what's going to happen, and I didn't want to mention the legal side of things in front of Maya. Comments. I think I can guess why he waited until she was pregnant to push this issue. Extremely manipulative. I agree with another commenter who thinks Mia is pregnant too. I see him saying, "Hey, so why doesn't Mia move in with us? We'll have this great three-way marriage just like I've dreamed." And after thinking, "Oh hell, it can't get much worse," mother-in-law swoops in to tell her, "If you guys just had a threesome, yeah, sure. Whatever her baby wants." I'm pretty sure OP's husband is more expecting to transition his relationship with both women into a triple because he is just that self-centered. OP is probably the more reliable, stable one. Mia is probably the one he's most attracted to, and he wants to be both taken care of and have his physical needs met. He's gross. I don't understand why he married OP. He was with Mia before her and cheating during the marriage. What was the point of finding a teenager, being with her for 7 years and making Mia her best friend? They should have married each other and left this poor girl out of it. Disgusting assholes, including his mother. OP is making the right decision to get away from this gross situation. My girlfriend told me she's pregnant, but I am sterile. Backstory. I got into an accident after college and will never be able to have kids. None of my family members know of this. They know about the accident, but not about this. I have always wanted to be child-free, so it did not affect me much mentally. I have finished my master's degree last year and never dated before. I got a very high-paying job directly through campus placements. My parents immediately wanted me to get married after getting a job, but I wanted to work on myself and explore a bit. They said no, and I said that it was my wish. All my life, I did what they wanted, and for the first time when I talked against them, they were not happy. This was last year, and they gave up after COVID started. So, I picked up some dating apps and went through them, but no luck. Then my parents introduced me to a family friend's daughter, and we clicked, kind of. Looking back, I was a fool. She said yes to anything I said and never complained about anything. I felt kind of weird about it. I wanted her to express her interests, but she always said she was interested in whatever I do. Well, I did not think much about it. I said that I won't have kids ever, and she surprisingly said okay. I was like, damn, she is probably the one, as it is very hard to find a partner who is child-free in my country, or at least I thought. But we were in the initial stages, and I have not talked about my accident. Long story short, we had sex a month ago. I used condoms because safety first. The next day on, she started ghosting me a bit. I thought it was due to my performance in bed and wanted to give her some space. Then she texted infrequently and only replied to OKs and Ks and one-line answers. I thought maybe she wanted to end the relation and was sad but left it at that. Yesterday, all her family came to my house, and she claims she's pregnant and the father is me. Needless to say, I freaked the fuck out and wanted to collapse on the ground. I did not say anything while they were talking about marriage and stuff that needs to happen because I got her pregnant. Update. A day later. Let me start off by saying, I'm very grateful to all the Redditors who took their time to read and give me advice. I was overwhelmed by the number of comments and how many of you said it might not even be my kid. Looking at it from a different perspective gave me much more insight into the whole situation. I called my boss and took today off. I called up some clinics to get tested and was given a slot on Friday afternoon. Then I went to the store and bought some pregnancy tests and asked only her to come to my place tomorrow, i.e. today morning. I also called my parents, and before I said anything, my mom asked me if I had any good news. I was shocked by what she said and asked me what exactly she was talking about. She then played dumb, and I knew that the situation was more fucked than I thought. I cut the call and cried all night till 3 a.m., grown-ass man crying for the first time since 8th class. She came today morning with her parents even after I told her to come alone. They were under the impression that I was going to discuss engagement plans with them. I told them to wait outside and called her in, and they threw a fit. I told them they can all go back or let her alone come in. They said okay. I took out the pregnancy tests and gave it to her and told her to prove that she was actually pregnant and told her where the bathroom was. She started screaming at me. Never done this before, I was shocked at this. Then she went out the door and called her parents in. Now everyone is screaming at me in my own home because I asked her to prove the pregnancy, not even a DNA test. I told them all to fuck off, and 1 hour later, my parents and they all came to my home, and they spilled the beans. She was never actually pregnant, as many Redditors said. My parents were afraid that I was getting old for marriage and wanted me to marry and give them grandchildren. They said that in arranged marriages, no need for the people to get to know the spouse because parents choose only the best for their kids. They planned this all, and were only waiting for me to have sex with her to do this. I broke down and cried again. All my life, I did exactly what my parents wanted, always scored high and never asked for anything. I told them to get out and never talk to me again in between crying, and they said parents know what's best for their kids and I should do what they say. Then I got extremely angry and told them to fuck themselves in my native language, which was very bad. For once, I think they knew I was serious with them, and they all left. I blocked them all before sending my parents a message to never again contact me in my life, even if one of you is dying. Cried for some more time, went through some dog videos, and went through all my messages on Reddit, and I feel like I owe you guys this update because it was you guys who helped me do this. That is all, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Final update, 10 days later. I want to thank you all for taking your time and reaching out and giving advice. The last few days, I feel like a burden was lifted off me, especially from my parents who always expect many things from me. The first day after the confrontation was a shit show. My parents forced relatives to reach out to me asking me to see the reason. LMIO. I declined. They stopped after 2 days after a harsh message from me requesting no contact. I also took appointments for family planning, vasectomy, which is next month. Some people asked if I would ever tell my family about this, but I will not. My body, my business. I will, of course, tell potential future dates that I am child-free and had a vasectomy beforehand. Some people asked where I am from. I am from India. Comments. Man, child-free and Indian. That's a surefire way to get all the relatives involved in relentlessly trying to change your mind. Been there and heard that. Yeah, I can't speak for what it's like there, but my Indian friend had to literally move continents to get away from the relentless hounding from her family after she told them she didn't want kids. She's almost 40 and says she won't go back until she's in menopause, lol. I know at least here in the US, people have been told they are sterile or will be sterile due to an accident or condition and have a whoops kid because they weren't tested for viability. The odds were just low. A vasectomy gives him the certainty to know it won't happen at all. So this is the end of the story. Tell me what you think about these stories in the comments section. Like and subscribe for more videos.